When people talk about books and literature, a big part of it is recommendations, receiving and giving recommendations about books that you love and books that you otherwise would not have read but turn out to be one of your favorites. In the West, they have this thing called the canon, which traces in no uncertain terms a direct through line from Dante in the 1500s to William Shakespeare to Ernest Hemingway. Here in Africa, however, we have no such thing. Now, the thing is, we have great books and we've had great writers, Chinua Achebe, to name but one. However, the thing with Africa is it's all disjointed. And I don't think I've ever spoken publicly about this before, but Africa is a cracked rock. It's 54 pieces of the same piece. You understand? So when in the Berlin Conference in 1878, was it? Or I don't know, I didn't take history. During the Berlin Conference, when they carved up the continent, they kind of doomed us to a kind of chasing our own tail spiritually and artistically and philosophically, because now we were weakened by the fact that we were separated and we didn't have strength in numbers. So we had Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, all these people going through their different independent struggles. We didn't have time to take interest in things such as literature and art, and we didn't have time to forge something cohesive and direct through line, because everyone was all separate and everyone was doing their own thing and everyone was distracted by, their own socio-political issues and things like that. And which is why, just like the West, when they didn't have a formidable society, there was only perhaps one or two identifiable novelists and writers in the time. There was Dante, yes, there was Shakespeare, and there was Cervantes in Spain, but very, very few. Just like in the 20th century in Africa, we have had Chinua Achebe, we had Ngugi wa Thiong'o, very few. But now that we are starting to build a formidable society as Africans, I think we need to undo that knot that was tied on our behalf, which is, kind of making things hard to streamline, and we need to come together and not disperse in terms of this is Kenyan literature, this is Nigerian literature. No, I feel like if we just have African literature and we all seem to fit into one box, I feel like we'll be able to streamline and to consolidate more the best writers from the continent, the ones that really need a spotlight, and be able to shine a big light upon them. I'm very happy when institutions and bodies come together from different African countries, come together to form one African thing where it's real. It feels more real. It feels more tangible, don't you think? Yeah, and these days now we have writers like Akweke Amezi and the sort. I'm sorry, I don't read a lot of contemporary African literature. I read very old African literature, not contemporary, but we have these new voices coming up, mostly West African, I've noticed. And I think we should all band together and spearhead for this new African literary wave, because I think it's important and I think it's going to happen, but it won't happen in isolation. Kenya needs to reach their hand to the other side of the continent, and we all need to do the same thing in order for us to be strong and to have a real literary culture. So in future, I think that's going to get ironed out, and the next generations have a lot to be happy and optimistic about that the previous generations did not. But I think we're heading to a good place, and I'm very excited to see where that goes.